welcome to another edition of Did You Know Doctor Who, or what you may not know about Doctor Who. This time we're going to have a look at Tooth and Claw. I hope you enjoy. In the scene where the Doctor and Rose meets the Queen's Guards, the Doctor slips into a Scottish accent, which is a reference to the actor David Tennant's heritage. At one point during filming, Billie Piper's hair caught fire. The Doctor passes himself off as Dr. James McGribbon from the township of Balamory. Jamie McGribbon was a companion of the second Doctor. Initially, the Doctor and Rose were both supposed to fake Scottish accents and then forget how to use them. When the action started, Billie Piper's terrible Scottish accent put an end to that. Michelle Duncan and James Sives were unable to attend the read-through for this story, and their parts were read out by David Tennant's parents, who happened to be visiting the Doctor Who set at the time. When Father Angelo is chanting in Latin, he is saying Lupus Magnus S, Lupus Fortis S, Lupus Deus S, which translates as The Wolf is great, the wolf is strong, the wolf is God. Pauline Collins is the first female Oscar-nominated performer to appear in the series. In fact, Pauline Collins originally appeared in Doctor Who before, in The Faceless Ones. Originally, Russell T Davies developed a storyline set at Buckingham Palace, involving an alien insect getting in Queen Victoria's eye. This was not what the production team wanted, and the storyline was rejected. Queen Victoria was not a haemophiliac, although she was a carrier, as were several of her daughters. One of her sons, Prince Leopold, was a haemophiliac and died from bleeding of the brain after a fall. Because of the way the genetic disorder works, the victims are always male, and the carriers are female. The werewolf in this story is computer generated. Pauline Collins stated in the BBC press release that there were two performance artists who demonstrated the movements that the werewolf would do, and talked about the problems of overacting in a situation where one was simply reacting to the green screen. The warrior monks were inspired by Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. This is the second time the Doctor's female companion got called for being naked for wearing too little clothing in the late 19th century. The first time was in Ghostlight. At one point, Russell T Davies contemplated surprising the viewers by having the werewolf kill Queen Victoria in 1879. This would be the point of divergence for the alternate history introduced in Rise of the Cybermen. However, Davies became concerned that this ongoing storyline would be too difficult for casual viewers to follow, and decided to drop the idea. Script editor Simon Winston had said that mistletoe is not indigenous to Scotland, and therefore its heavy presence in the story is supposed to further acknowledgement to the viewers that Sir Robert's father had deliberately imported it as a defence against the wolf. The working title for this episode was simply Queen Victoria. This is the third time a werewolf has appeared, and it's the first time it being completely CGI'd. The werewolf's defeat follows an old philosophy: what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, however what makes you stronger can also kill you. The werewolf's transformation and look was heavily inspired by an American werewolf in London. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Tooth and Claw is one of my personal underrated episodes. I actually quite like this story a lot. I know the, kung fu monks at the beginning were a little bit weird and over the top, but I think it's just a genuinely enjoyable horror story with a werewolf running about a mansion chasing after our characters who are, trying their best to survive. There is the mystery of this mansion as well, which is quite interesting. It's not obviously that strong. It is definitely a sort of mediocre story, all things considered, but I have a soft spot for it. I think the werewolf looks great, by the way, and whilst I admit the CGI has sort of been, how do I put it, hasn't really aged that well compared to where it was back in the day, although then again, back in the day it did look pretty impressive, and still I think the transformation scene is absolutely fantastic, and seeing this thing, go from a man to a wolf is absolutely horrific and bone chilling. You can definitely tell where the American Werewolf in London inspiration came from some of the moments, but still I think the werewolf looks fantastic, even if the CGI hasn't been, hasn't really updated as much, if that makes sense. It hasn't really aged that well. Then again, I still like this story. It's a very short, basic story, surviving a werewolf in a mansion, pretty much, but I still like it. I still really, really like it. I find the fact about it having what intended purpose was to influence future stories was quite interesting, although I guess it sort of does with the Torchwood mention at the end. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Did You Know Doctor Who, and I'll see you next time.